You see the lamps that are going to catch Jesus out? This is the stupidest hypothetical question. Hi guys, Merry Christmas. Today is the 20th of December. Bible study has been hard to do in terms of filming and editing. It's a lot more demanding than the rest of my other videos, but I also know it's a lot more rewarding than the rest of my other videos. So today we are continuing in chapter 20. And it came to pass that on one of those days, as he taught the people in the temple and preached the gospel, the chief priests and scribes came upon him with the elders, and spake unto him, saying, Tell us, by what authority dost thou these things? Or who is he that gave thee this authority? And he answers and said unto them, I will also ask you one thing, and answer me. The baptism of John, was it from heaven or of men? And they reasoned with themselves, saying, If we shall say from heaven, ye will say, Why then believed ye him not? And if they say of men, all the people will stone us, for they be persuaded that John was a prophet. And they answered that they could not tell whence it was. And I've written they're insincere because they know the truth. They're so insincere, they're not even willing to answer honestly because they're trying to think, how can we get out of this without contradicting ourselves? How can we get out of this without appearing as hypocrites? They know what the answer is, but they're like, oh, let's not say that because let's actually give him both things we could say and try and make out like, oh, we're not sure. They're just so angry and they're so upset because he contradicts their structure and their hierarchy system that they've got going on, and they don't like that. And Jesus said unto them, Neither tell I you by what authority I do these things. So since they can't tell him what the answer is, he's like, okay, if you can't tell me, I can't tell you either then. Then began he to speak to the people this parable. A certain man planted a vineyard. Is it vineyard or vineyard? Let's say vineyard. And let it forth to husbandmen, and went into a far country for a long time. And at the season he sent a servant to the husbandmen, that they should give him of the fruit of the vineyard. But the husbandmen beat him and sent him empty away. And again he sent another servant, and they beat him also, and entreated him shamefully, and sent him away empty. And again he sent a third, and they wounded him also, and cast him out. Then the Lord of the vineyard said, What shall I do? I will send my beloved son. It may be they will reverence him when they see him. But the husbandmen saw him. They reasoned among themselves, saying, This is the heir. Come, let us kill him, that the inheritance may be ours. So they cast him out of the vineyard and killed him. What therefore shall the Lord of the vineyard do unto them? He shall come and destroy these husbandmen, and shall give the vineyard to others. And when they heard it, they said, God forbid. I've written, they're saying God forbid, yet they do it to Jesus. So there's a man, and he has a vineyard. I've been saying vineyard, I keep using the two interchangeably. He has a vineyard, and he leaves it under the care of certain people. Kind of representative how God has his people here on earth, right? And so he sends servants. This could be God sending prophets to the earth to preach. And they kill the prophets, they kill the servants every single time. Then God goes, okay, let me send my son. The owner of the vineyard says, let me send my son to retrieve what's mine. Jesus is God's son. He's come to retrieve the people that are his. And they kill the son because they're like, no, he wants to come and get his inheritance, so let's kill him. They kill Jesus because they're like, no, he wants to come and bring the world salvation, so let's kill him. And the Pharisees hear this and they go, God forbid, and they're like, they know that Jesus is insinuating that that's them, and they don't want to accept it. They're like, God forbid. They say God forbid, but they literally can't do it. And this is the thing. I think not only are the Pharisees hypocrites, they're actually just not self-aware. Because they can't even see, they can't even realize the gravity and the depth of what they're doing. Like, they're doing the very thing that they would hate to be accused of doing, which is what I'm struggling to comprehend. Like, they're here saying God forbid, but they literally can't do it in 2 chapters. And he bailed them and said, What is this then that is written? The same which the builders rejected, the same is become the head of the cornerstone. Whosoever shall fall upon that stone shall be broken, but on whom it shall fall, it will ground him to powder. Essentially, when he says whoever falls on the stone will be broken, when you come to Jesus, you're broken of your pride and any arrogance or sin you might be carrying. And then it says, whomever shall it fall, it will grind him to powder. And it's that judgment that will come for those who do not receive Christ, who do not open their hearts to him. And the chief of priests and the scribes the same hour sought to lay hands on him. And they feared the people, for they perceived that he had spoken this parable against them. And they watched him, and sent forth spies, which should feign themselves just as men, that they might take hold of his words, so that they might deliver him unto the power and authority of the governor. So if they want to arrest him, they want to kill him, they want something to pin on Jesus, so that they have grounds to crucify him. But they are aware that everyone loves Jesus at this moment in time. They're going to switch up very soon. But they're thinking, okay, how can we get Jesus to be crucified? Let's see if we can try and change public opinion against him. So now they sent spies to try and catch Jesus out, to ask him questions. And the spies asked of Jesus, saying, Master, we know that thou sayest and teachest rightly, neither acceptest thou the person of any, but teachest the way of God truly. Is it lawful for us to give tribute unto Caesar, or no? But he perceived their craftiness, and said unto them, Why do ye tempt me? Show me a penny, whose image and superscription hath it? They answered and said, Caesar's. And he said unto them, Render therefore unto Caesar the things which be Caesar's, and unto God the things which be God's. And they could not take hold of his words before the people, and they marvelled at his answer, and held their peace. So they're trying to catch Jesus out by asking, do we give tribute to Caesar? Because if Jesus says yes, then it means he's not recognizing God as sovereign. But if Jesus says no, you give tribute to God, then it means he's not respecting the authority of the time. So they're literally trying to catch him out, and again, he's like, you give unto whoever it is. Like, if it's for Caesar, it's Caesar. He answers this so perfectly because there's nothing here that he's done wrong. Then came unto him certain of the Sadducees, which deny that there is any resurrection. And they asked him, saying, Master, Moses wrote unto us, if any man's brother die, having a wife, and he die without children, that his brother should take his wife, and raise up seed unto his brother. There were therefore then 7 brethren. And the first took a wife, and died without children, and the second took her to wife, and he died childless. And the third took her, and in like manner the 7 also, and they left no children and died. Last of all the woman died also. Therefore in the resurrection, whose wife is she? The 7 had to her wife. And I've just written deep the silliness. But what a silly question. Like, genuinely, you see the lengths they're going to catch Jesus out. This is the stupidest hypothetical question. If your brother had a wife and your brother died, out of like kindness, you would then take in your brother's wife, so she's not fending for herself type of thing, so she has that security financially. So he's saying, if each of these brothers died, just what a silly question. And Jesus answering said unto them, the children of this world marry and are given in marriage, but they which shall be accounted worthy to obtain that world and the resurrection from the dead neither marry nor are given in marriage. Marriage is a thing on earth. Marriage is not necessarily a principle that's followed in heaven. Jesus is like, it really won't matter in heaven. Like, it literally, once we've all been resurrected, as in once we've all gone up to heaven, it literally will not matter. Like, no one's gonna be jealous or hold it against the other or be like, you married her. Or like, it's literally not gonna, he's literally saying it will not be an issue. Like, no one will care, because in heaven you're not going to have all these negative experiences that you have on earth. So the idea of jealousy or competition between brothers will not even exist. Neither can they die anymore, for they are equal unto the angels, and are the children of God, being the children of the resurrection. Now that the dead are raised, even Moses showed at the bush, when he called the Lord the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. For he's not a God of the dead, but of the living, for all live unto him. And he's referencing the Torah. The Torah is the 5 books that Moses wrote, and the Sadducees would have accepted these 5 books to have authority, right? So by directly referencing the very scriptures that the Sadducees follow, Jesus is literally pointing it out to them in their own books as well. These earthly principles will not like constrict you in heaven. Then certain of the scribes answered, saying, Master, thou hast well said. And after that they dared not to ask him any question at all. And he said unto them, Jesus said unto the Sadducees, how say they that Christ is David's son? And David himself saith in the book of Psalms, the Lord hath said unto my Lord, sit thou on my right hand, till I make thine enemies thy footstool. David therefore called him Lord. How is he then his son? He is saying this to the Sadducees so that they think about who Jesus is, right? Because in Psalms, David references Jesus as being his Lord. Jesus is just like, I'm a descendant of David's, but David called me his Lord. So if David is calling Jesus is Lord, like he's just trying to get them to think about who he is, and he's asking it to them as a question because they don't want to accept that he's the Son of God, but he's literally quoting scripture at them to make them understand. Then in the audience of all the people he said unto his disciples, beware of the scribes which desire to walk in long robes, and love greetings in the market, and the highest seats in synagogues, and the chief rooms at feasts, which devour widows' houses, and make long prayers. The same shall receive greater damnation. And Jesus is saying, like, just be careful of the scribes, because you know they're hypocrites. The point about long prayers here is when they do long prayers, they're doing it to show off. They're not doing it because they have a lot of things to pray about. They're just doing it so people look at them and think, oh, they prayed for so long, wow, look at them. And he's just warning that they do all of this stuff, but none of it's genuine, and it's hypocrisy, and they're gonna be dealt with it when the time comes. But that is the end of chapter 20. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow for chapter 21.